What's up, you guys? Scott Jansen here. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to start, grow, and scale your coaching, hypnotherapy, NLP, and even healing business online. And in record time, without spending any money on advertising, get to six figures and multiple six figures a year. Now, you're probably thinking, why should I listen to you, Scott? I've seen hundreds of these videos before. This is just going to be another webinar. Why should I listen to you? So as you guys can see here right now, I'm over on our website and I'm just in the section for our success stories. And I want you guys to realize before I show you these testimonials, these students, these clients, these therapists and coaches were just like you. Probably 90% to 95% of the people we help are starting from absolute scratch. Some of them only have one or two certifications. Pretty much all of them have never run a business before. They don't have a niche. They're not making money. They've never had clients before, and they're starting from absolute scratch. But I want to show you what is possible based on what I'm going to be teaching you guys today. So as you can see here, we have NLPers, hypnotherapists, coaches, RTT healers, motivational speakers that are in our program. And as you can see here, the results speak for themselves. So we've got a student here, $120,000 in 6 months. Another student just under $30,000 per month, $98,000 in just 2019 alone. Another student here talking about paying off 5.5 years of debt that she was in while starting her business, $40,000 months, $95,000 in 3 months. We have a student hitting $50,000 in 3 months, all the way down to more $30,000 months, $50,000 months, clients buying new car in cash, students launching their business and making their first $10,000 in the first 3 to 4 weeks, students raising their prices from $200 to $300 per client, all the way up to $2,500 per client, $18,000 in the first 3 days, and the results speak for themselves, and so on and so forth. So as you can see here, $20,000 a month, $17,000 in 7 days, $10,000 in the first 4 weeks just from working her business on her phone, which was awesome. Students starting here and showing that she started from, I think about $2,000 a month, all the way up to $45,000 per month, all the way down $6,500 a week. Student talking about buying her dream home in cash, and she only started our program about 12 months ago from zero. As you can see here, I started off with $882 in January, only $862 in February. She then started my program, ended the year, so 10 months later, with $123,000 cash in her account. And now she's in escrow to buy her house, which she's just moved into now. $2,500 per client, and so on and so forth. So guys, if I keep scrolling down here, you're going to see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these success stories. And these aren't all of them, but I just want to show you proof. I think it's important for me to not just talk about my success, my coaching company, and how I got to 7 figures and beyond. I think it's important that I show you how our students are succeeding. I was never fond of the mentor just talking about themselves and how successful they can be, because anybody can do that. But I think what makes an incredible program, an incredible business strategy, which I'm going to be talking to you guys about today, is can it be replicated with the students? And these are all student testimonials here. $20,000 months, we got $8,000 days, all the way down $40,000 in 4 months, and so on and so forth, guys. You can come and check this out for yourself. So you can see I'm living proof of what I can do for you and your business. And it's exactly the same strategy I'm going to be teaching you guys today. So I think, like I said, the proof is in the pudding, as you guys can see. I think that's enough proof for now. You can come and check these out for yourself. These are all therapists, coaches, NLPers, and RTTers. But I'm sure you're not just here for me to scroll through. There's a student talking about a car that she paid for cash, a dream car. But I'm sure you're not here just to look at testimonials. You're here to learn how to start and grow and scale your business to 6 figures, then multiple 6 figures a year. So that's exactly what we're going to do now. Let's go. Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably sick of all seeing those hyped up gurus standing in front of their Lamborghini, standing in front of their mansion, sitting on their boat, talking about how they can help you grow their business, but without any proof. So what I'm going to be showing you today is just the real fucking tactics to get down into the absolute trenches of what it takes to start and grow your business. Plus, I'm going to be giving you workable activities that if you stay to the end, I'll show you where you can download an entire workbook based on these strategies, plus a ton more free resources and content so you can actually start implementing this stuff today. So how am I going to show you and teach you how to grow your business from absolute scratch to growth and scale to 6 figures per year and even multiple 6 figures per year? How am I going to do that? Well, there's a very simple process I'm going to take you through. And I'm going to introduce you to something called systems and systems thinking. And there are essentially 4 models that I'm going to be teaching you in order to create actionable strategies for your business. So let's have a look at these 4 things I'm going to be running you through today. First, number 1 is what I call focus and time. Number 2 is what I call throughput and flow. Number 3 is systems thinking and systems application. And lastly is economics and tracking. So you might be thinking, well, Scott, what on earth do any of these things mean? How can systems and systems thinking really give me an actionable tool to start, grow, and scale my business? Well, first off, let's define what I mean by systems thinking. Systems thinking is the ability for us as human beings to see chaos, complexity, especially in business, because we all know when starting a business can get very chaotic and very, very confusing and frustrating very quickly. But we can apply a systems thinking or a systems lens over this chaos, over this complexity, drill down into very simple, actionable steps that'll clear up all of the confusion, all of the complexity, and create an easy flowing system that it can take you from absolute zero all the way through to scaling your business. I'm not going to be teaching you just abstract theory with no proof, no actionable steps, because you've seen those types of videos before. This is all about drilling down into the core problems that all business owners have, especially therapists and coaches, and using this systems thinking, this system lens to almost delete the complexity, to get rid of the chaos, to get rid of the confusion, so you'll know what to do each and every day to get paid clients. You'll know exactly what to do to start, grow, and scale your business. You'll know exactly what to charge your clients. You'll know exactly the economics of your business. You'll know how to iterate all the different parts of your system for purposeful growth over short periods of time, and then long-term growth, so your business can remain controllable, reliable, and very, very consistent. And again, we're going to do this by looking at things abstractly first, which is a high-level view, then drill down into the core strategies that you need, the steps. And like I said, if you stay buckled in all the way to the end of this video, I'll give you a workbook that you can download for free that covers all of these systems and strategies here, but also goes into a lot more detail, but you have to stay to the end to get that. So the first model and system I want to introduce you guys to is focus and time. Now, across business owners, entrepreneurs, therapists, and coaches, we are only given a few things that are equal to the next person. And this is time and energy. Now, as human beings on planet Earth, we are constrained by time and energy. There is only so much time we are given each day in order to grow the business and get clients. And we only have so much energy before we have to take a break. We have to sleep, we have to eat, and we have to rest. That's the constraint of being a human being. We can't replicate that human being. We can't get more time. We can't give up our sleep. We can't miss meals, because over time, our body will break down and we won't be able to do anything. So regardless whether you're a therapist or a coach, whatever stage of your business, the only things that are equal are time and energy. So the first model I do want to introduce you to is why focus and time, and where you choose to use that finite time and what you focus on, is the key to your business either making a ton of money, you dominating that niche and making more money in a day, in a week, than the average standard therapist or a coach would make in a month, or you become a part of that red ocean of therapists and coaches who are all struggling to get the last morsel of client. So let's get into time, focus, and where you put your energy. So to prove my point further as to why focus, time, and energy are the most important parts of your business, let me give you this example. Let's say I was to take two therapists or two coaches. Let's say two therapists, both equally qualified, both have the same skills, both have the same amount of time, focus, energy, and resources. But what these two do that are different is where they put their focus. Let's say therapist number one chooses to spend his day scrolling through Facebook, scrolling through Instagram, watching motivational videos by Tony Robbins, sitting in Facebook groups, talking to other therapists and coaches, building logos, making websites, creating business cards, thinking of their business names, getting more certified, giving away free sessions, and so on and so forth. So that's the model that therapist is running. But I can also take another therapist who has the same qualifications, given the same amount of time, focus, and energy, but this therapist chooses to spend his time in other places. All comes down to choice. This therapist chooses to spend his time finding a niche, getting the right price, creating the right product, learning marketing, learning how to sell, doing organic outreach, talking to potential clients, and so on and so forth. So the difference is between the therapist choosing to put his or her time in the wrong places compared to the other therapist or a coach choosing to put his or her time in only the places that'll prove to result in paid clients, making money. And this really is a fundamental key as to why you are either going to make money in your business or you're going to lose money in your business. Where you choose to put your time, attention, and focus in the finite amount of time that we have on this earth is the difference between your business succeeding or your business failing. Now, beyond this, you may also notice that even though we're all given the equal amount of time and focus in our business, the distribution is abnormal, meaning the results from the focus and time is abnormal, even though we're given equal parts in the same equal amount every single time. You will see that with the same amount of time and energy from those two comparison therapists, one will crush it while the other one will fail. If you look close enough in this industry, you may notice therapists and coaches that you were certified with, who have been in business the same amount of time that you have, had the same resources, same time as I mentioned before, but are absolutely crushing it and are so far, fathoms farther than you in business, but you're doing the same amount of things. This means that even though we've got the same amount of time, resources, and focus, the distribution of results is different. So what this really comes down to is where you choose to put your time. You can choose to put your time in all the wrong places that will never lead to any sort of results and are only going to waste time, which I'll get to more in later, or you can choose to spend this finite time in your business every day and only focus on the things that really matter. So although that's more of an abstract idea, let's drill down and give you a real life example. Let's say over the left-hand side here that you wake up each and every day and you are given 12 units of time. Now you can choose to spend your time each day doing 12 different things, focusing on 12 different things, attempting 12 different things, multitasking in 12 different things, and only making 1 inch of progress in all 12 of those things. And if you repeat this every single day, this is where you begin to wear yourself thin. I see therapists and coaches just going absolutely neurotic and becoming insane, where the point where I just don't understand how their brain just doesn't have an aneurysm and they die, trying to attempt 12, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 different things every single day, but only making 1 inch of progress in 12 different directions towards their goal. And this is a choice. The majority of therapists and coaches spending far too long trying to do everything at once at the cost of focus and aligning what they do with only the activities that are going to prove to get them results. Like I said, you've got the choice to sit and watch Tony Robbins videos all day and be inspired, or you've got the choice to be on social media, learning how to sell your service, talking to the right potential clients, and focusing on only those things that will get you results and focusing on these things every single day and staying so focused like a laser on these things and repeating this process every single day until you get what you're going for, which is the end goal. And this really is the untaught secret of the most successful entrepreneurs, business owners, therapists, and coaches across the entire industry in every business model you can think of. These therapists, coaches, mentors, and gurus that you look up to understand the element of focus and focusing like a laser and repeating this over and over again until they get their end result. They are not scattered across their approach and trying to attempt everything at once at the cost of losing focus, wearing themselves thin, going insane, becoming neurotic, and becoming obsessed with all the latest technology, the latest funnels, the latest shiny things, where their business just becomes an absolute mess of chaos. So instead of having that scattered business model, this is where we first need to draw your attention. And this is how we fix the scattered approach. The approach that if you've been looking at your business and you've been in business for the last 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and it seems like you're only making small inches of progress, we now have to redefine the model that you run, the mental model that you have towards business, and we've got to focus like a laser towards one direction. So now let's look at this. If I'm given, when I wake up each day, 12 units of time, but instead of scattering them across multiple different projects at once, what if I was to stack them on top of each other, all towards one goal? And I'll talk about what that one goal should be. And this is what I call the metric for your business, which I'll talk about soon. But by doing it this way and stacking my focus, my attention, my process, my systems, all towards one direction, in one day, I'm going to make 12 inches of progress compared to the other therapist or a coach doing multiple things, scattered approach, making 1 inch of progress in 12 different directions. And again, this is what successful people are doing, whether you realize it or not, whether they realize it or not, but this is why they're making the lion's share of money in the industry. Now, in addition to this, what should we be focusing on? We know as therapists and coaches, it seems like we have so many different things that we need to concentrate on in order to be successful. And Scott, it makes sense that I should be stacking my focus one on top of each other and heading towards a singular goal. But what should I be focusing on? And it really drills down to what should I be doing each day in order to get to that goal? So the next abstract model I want to introduce you to is something called asymmetry. Now, just like I talked about before, the distribution of results is abnormal. Everyone's given the same amount of time. Everybody's given the same amount of focus and energy each day, but the distribution of results is different. One therapist or a coach is crushing it, while the other person is absolutely being crushed by their business with the same amount of time and energy as before. So what should we be focusing on? Well, this is where asymmetry comes into it. Essentially what asymmetry means, and that's this diagram right here, is there are certain actions that we can take that will yield a bigger result with the least amount of effort and the least amount of time. So I'm going to repeat that, the least amount of effort and the least amount of time, which means that we now have to divide up possible activities and what I call weighing activities, which I'm going to show you how to do, that we can stack on top of each other and only stack on top of each other the ones, the results, the actions that are proven to get some sort of results, which for us is going to be more time, freedom, cash, clients, and success, real world material results. So there's two sides to asymmetry as well. So inside this scattered approach that I talked about before, what I also find, which is just as intriguing, I think I should say as well, just as important, is the majority of actions that this scattered approach is taking is all what I call symmetrical actions. Now, a symmetrical action is represented by this. It means that there are certain energy tasks, there are certain tasks that are going to take a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of repeating, a lot of button pushing, but all lead to not much results. It means that the distribution of results is abnormal. Too much time and energy for very little results. And unfortunately, this is what happens. So if you have a scattered approach in business where you're trying everything at once, and inside that scattered approach, all the actions you're taking are symmetrical, this is why it seems like you are doing so much fucking work and going insane to crawl so ever slowly towards your goal. Where the other therapist or a coach that not only understands focus, but they are stacking their focused activities one on top of each other with something called asymmetrical actions, where it seems like instead of pushing multiple buttons, exerting multiple energy to receive hardly any results, these therapists and coaches has flipped this model. And it seems like they can push one button and get multiple results. So our goal, on top of getting away from the scattered approach and becoming more focused on what you do and ignoring all the time wasting activities, ignoring everything else in this world and focusing like a laser each day towards your goal, you now want to investigate your time and work out what are your asymmetrical actions. Now, I'll give you another example of this. I'll give you something to hold on to inside your mind. Sometimes it's very hard for the mind to understand abstraction. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm given two tasks. One task is handing out business cards. The other task is creating a Facebook Live. Handing out business cards or a Facebook Live. So let's say I have a reasoning and understanding, and I know this because I've tested this, that business cards requires a lot of effort. I've got to print the business cards. They cost money. I've got to hand out the business cards, which means I've got to leave my house. I've got to exert energy. I've got to walk around my local neighborhood. I've got to put the business cards and even the flyer in a letterbox. And that takes time and a lot of energy. And it's very hard to replicate to the point where it's impossible that I can replicate this because once I've exhausted my local area, the only choice I have is to walk even further, drive even further. And if I keep repeating this over and over, my scope's going to get larger and larger, which means more time, more energy, and loss of focus, more money I'm going to have to spend in order to get clients. But I also run into the fact of if I'm handing out business cards and flyers, I don't know who lives in those houses. So the chances of me giving the right business card to the right person at the right time who can afford my services and actually need some sort of therapy or coaching is very, very small. Time, energy, loss of focus, a lot of moving parts, all to hopefully achieve one or two clients out of this. So the actions with handing out business cards is many. I've got to do multiple things to achieve the desired result, hand out the business cards, and my output of result is very, very small. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you where your symmetrical actions are compared to your asymmetrical actions. And I'm going to teach you to ignore the things that are only going to waste your time. So if we've got many actions that result in hardly any sort of results, which is time, cash, freedom, success in our business, happiness, and things like this, we need to flip it. So I gave you the example before, the difference between business cards or a Facebook Live. Where a Facebook Live, all I have to do is sit on a chair, get my microphone, log into Facebook, think of what I want to talk about, give it a title, and allow Facebook to pull in the right audience for me. And I can do a Facebook Live that lasts 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Not a lot of time, not a lot of moving parts, like 3 or 4 moving parts. Chair, myself, so that's 2. 3 is the microphone. 4, press record, Facebook Live, go live, that's 4 parts. But I also understand that Facebook is now on my side. Facebook is now going to share this Facebook Live to the right people at the right time all around the world, not just in my local area, but global. And I don't have to do a single thing for that other than do the Facebook Live. And if I was to repeat this every single day, I'm not exuding a lot of energy. There's not a lot of moving parts, and I can repeat it every day. So this now becomes an asymmetrical action. Little amount of time and energy, but massive results. I can allow this Facebook Live to be shared over and over and over and over. I can replicate this Facebook Live every single day. And now the outputs on my results is going to be extremely large. So back to it, I'll pull these 2 models together. I can have a scattered approach where I'm trying to attempt 12, 15 different things at once and only make an inch of progress. Or I can focus like a laser towards one goal, and I'll talk about what that one goal should be. And I could stack asymmetrical, least amount of time and effort, biggest results. I could stack these activities one on top of each other. Facebook Live, YouTube video, organic outreach. It could be doing a webinar, something like this, anything that doesn't require a lot of energy from me. And I can stack these things one on top of each other and point them towards one direction. So not only do we have to get away from the scattered approach, we now have to work out what are your asymmetrical and symmetrical actions. So you might think, well, Scott, this is all well and good. How do I know what is asymmetrical, where I don't have to do as much, but I can get a bigger result, compared to symmetrical, where it seems like I'm doing a lot, but getting very little results? Well, I'm going to show you how to find these asymmetrical and symmetrical actions in your business. But before I do that, I want to answer the question of, what should you be pointing your business towards? What is the goal? It's all well and good to focus and find your asymmetrical actions, but what should I be focusing my business towards? Now, again, business owners, therapists, and coaches can be so scattered in what the goal for their business is. When it comes down to it, business owners need to understand this. The only metric you should be looking at in business is cash collected, money in your account, cash flow, because cash does some wonderful things in our business. The more cash we bring in, the more time we have to affect more people's lives in a very positive way. But if I don't have cash flow in my business, I can't survive. I can't pay my bills. I now have to go get a 9-to-5 job to pay the bills, and I'm going to have less time to work on the business. So what I tell therapists and coaches is to always concentrate on cash. Concentrate on cash flow. Focus like a fucking laser towards your cash flow, which is your goal. 10,000 a month, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 a month, whatever your goal is, and focus like a laser on stacking these asymmetrical actions on top of each other, and close the doors, shut the windows, block off social media, get everything else outside of your head, and focus on only the asymmetrical actions that are proven to get results. So what are these asymmetrical actions? How do we weigh up what is a time-wasting activity or an action? And what action should I concentrate on, Scott? How do I know which is which? Well, let's break this down. So how do we measure this? Well, it's very, very simple. Let's say this is the graph I'm going to explain to you to show you how all of this works. We have to measure everything we do each and every day, because we could look at our to-do list, which I'm going to have you do very soon as an exercise. And let's say, for example, I know 50 different things that I could attempt in order to make money, in order to bring cash flow and clients into my business. But how do I know what's going to waste my time, Scott? And how do I know what's going to bring me in money? Well, we have to be able to measure this. We can't just guess. So the way we measure this is in 3 parts. One activity is going to bring us towards our goal, which is our monthly income, cash collected, money in our account, cash flow. That same activity could take us away from our goal, which would be a time-wasting activity. That would be more of a symmetrical thing. Or the activity could be so much of a time waster, money waster, energy waster, that it regresses us so far away from our goal that it's very, very hard to even make even an inch of progress. Like a millimeter of progress is all you can really expect. So in order to understand what you need to do each day, with the goal to know what you need to do each day in order to progress further in your business, you have to learn how to weigh each action. And it's very, very simple. I'm going to give you the exercise in order to do this. So this is how this flow works. This is how we measure it. What I want to do each day, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a list of all the actions and activities I know I could complete that would possibly get me paid clients, possibly bring me cash into my business. And I'm going to weigh each action. I'm going to go down the list, which I'm going to show you guys how to do in a moment. And I'm going to look at the things that I know have proven in the past, or I've got a good assumption that they will bring in a paid client. And I'm going to put a simple tick next to that. I'm going to go to the next one, and I'm either going to give it a tick if I know it's going to bring me in clients based on observation or past use of that activity, or I'm going to give it a cross. I'm going to assume that this activity right here is only going to waste my time. Give you an example. A sales call, learning how to do sales and taking strategy calls would be an asymmetrical action. That would be an activity that would bring me in paid clients. I'll give that a tick. My second activity of a possible way to try and get clients would be like a free session. I'll put a cross next to a free session because that's not going to give me cash flow. Now, later on, 6 months from now, that person that I gave a free session to may send me a friend, but that's far too much of a guess, far too into the future. And I'm going to have to do a lot of free work, a lot of moving parts, a lot of wasted energy in order to hopefully get a paid client later. So that's going to get across. And I'm going to go down systematically through this entire list, and I'm going to tick the activities that I know are asymmetrical, least amount of time, energy, and moving parts for the biggest result. And I'm going to put a cross next to the ones that I know are going to waste time. Okay. So that's how we weigh action. And what I'm trying to do is get this list and chisel down this list to find only the asymmetrical actions, because then these asymmetrical actions are now going to become my daily routine. Hopefully you can see where I'm going here. So the finite time that I have in my business every day, I can now focus in the right place and I can ignore everything else. Instead of the scattered approach where every therapist and coach is doing 100 things every single day, I could do 5 or 6 things and progress 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches through my business every day over the next day, week, month, and year, and progress fathoms past my competition. While every therapist or a coach, their to-do list is like a Stephen King model, but they're lucky to progress an inch per day in their business. So we have to find what are your asymmetrical actions. And we've got to weigh up these actions. Which ones are more important? Which ones can I ignore? I'm then going to delete those actions, the ones that are time wasters. Then furthermore, as I get more into working on my asymmetrical actions and only using the things and concentrating on the things that get me clients, I'm going to start to improve those things. So let's say on my list, one of them is the sales call, the strategy call. That would definitely be an asymmetrical action because that would bring in cash flow immediately. I'm then going to try and improve that action. Can I improve a sales call? Absolutely. I can learn how to sell better. Can I improve a business card? Well, not really. The only way to improve a business card is to hand out more of them. And hopefully over the long period, I've handed out hundreds of thousands that I'll get 1 or 2 clients from. I can't improve that action, but I can improve the sales call. I can't improve giving away a free session. I guess I could get better at therapy, but I'm still going to be declined with the wrong type of client. But can I improve doing social media like a Facebook Live or a YouTube video? Absolutely. And that has a higher chance of bringing me in a client. See where I'm going here? Weigh the action, delete the action, improve the action. And then like a laser, I'm going to focus on only those things. I'm going to ignore everything else. And every action that I take is going to be pointing towards monthly income. And now my to-do list is only full of actions and activities that are proven to get me paid clients. So let's look more at the monthly income. How do we track this? What exactly are we looking for? Well, sometimes our asymmetrical actions can fool us, and social media unfortunately does this to us. A lot of therapists and coaches that I speak to that say, Scott, my business is really, really successful. If I do a Facebook Live, I create a video, I get tons of shares, I get likes, I've got hundreds of thousands of people on my YouTube channel. I've got millions of people following my Instagram. I've got people starting conversations. I create a post and it gets thousands of views, thousands of likes and shares and comments. And this thing can fool us. These are what I call fancy metrics. And for the thousands of therapists and coaches that I speak to, some that have massive followings and massive communities are the same ones that are struggling to make $500 a month. It's quite bizarre how that happened. It's an abnormal result. My real point here is don't look at fancy metrics that would tell us that fame equals income, because it doesn't. So when you're looking for your asymmetrical actions, you want to look for the actions that don't give likes, shares, comments. You don't worry about that. You want to look for the ones that turned into paid clients, cash in your account. Now, I'll give you an example of this in my business. I have a YouTube channel. I use Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I use all the social media platforms. Now, what's funny is, I'll give you an example of my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel now has 8,000 subscribers. And each video might only collect a couple of hundred views per day. But I have videos on there that are still booking me strategy calls consistently, year in, year out, year in, year out. Now, if you were to look at these videos, think, well, they're not doing that well, Scott. There's only a couple of hundred views per day. And that is my point. I could get lost in this video and say, well, this is not an asymmetrical action because it doesn't have likes, shares, and comments, because I'd be looking at the wrong metric. So when I create a video or create a post or social media, I'm tracking, did that action turn into paid clients? Not did it turn into likes, shares, comments, and subscribers. I'm looking further into my monthly income. And when I can isolate the activities and only the activities that actually turn into cash collected, my daily routine now becomes only those activities, and I could ignore everything else. And I'm able to track this to an extent where I know exactly what button I push, what word I said, what action I took, and I can repeat those things day in, day out, day in, day out. So why I might, let's say, get all of my actions done in the first hour of the day, this is the same amount of results I get from a therapist or a coach working 12, 15, 20 hours per day over the entire week just to get one client. I can push one button, multiple clients, compared to the average therapist or coach pushes 100 buttons and struggles to get one client. This is the value and secret to asymmetry and focus. And this is how we measure your actions each day. You want to weigh up the action. Is this action taking me towards my goal? Is it taking me away from my goal? Or is it regressing me so far away from my goal that it seems unachievable? Whatever actions have a cross based on your list, which I'll show you guys how to do very, very soon, ignore those things. Don't become one of those insane, impulsive, neurotic therapists and coaches with that fucking scattered approach in business where they're wearing themselves so thin just to earn $500 a month, but struggling with so much social media, pushing all of these different buttons, hiring virtual assistants, multiple niches, multiple prices, multiple specials, but struggling. It may seem like they're doing a lot, but struggling financially. So you want to find your asymmetrical actions. You want to track what is turning into cash collected and paid clients. You want to turn your daily to-do list, chisel it down to only the bare essentials, the least amount of moving parts, but only the parts that are proven to get paid results, asymmetrical actions, and repeat this thing like a fucking maniac every single day. Focus and stack those asymmetrical actions over and over again, and do not stop with your consistency until you get to your $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $50,000, $100,000 per month. This is what makes therapists and coaches rich. So here's a summary of focus and time and different categories of focus and time inside the entire system. So number one, focus and systems thinking enables you to see your operations, client getting activities, asymmetrical actions in a very clear and concise way. Then you must design a compulsive and obsessive schedule that only includes these things while ignoring everything else. So number two is what I call product focus. You want to make a product that actually fucking works, and you want to be able to prove this with real paying clients, real testimonials, real reviews from clients that have used your products to prove that your product actually works. And this has to be proof with a clear outcome that can be summarized in words that makes sense to the general public. So a big problem that I see is a lot of therapists and a lot of coaches trying to talk to potential clients about their product or their service, but in explaining it in ways that only other therapists and coaches would understand. And you are going to miss an opportunity to book a client when you're talking like a therapist or a coach, because the general public or your general clients that you're seeing don't understand the lingo. They're not educated in the way that we are to understand things that we understand as therapists and coaches. So make a product that actually works with proof, and be very clear on the outcome and summarize it in words that other people can actually understand, especially if your clients are not other therapists and coaches. Number three is what I call client focus. Clients buy results, hands down, and really wrap your mind around this. They do not buy NLP. They do not buy hypnotherapy. They do not buy coaching. They do not buy healing. They don't buy any type of therapy that you do. They don't buy your experience. They do not buy who you were trained by or who your mentors are. They do not buy how many certifications you have. They only buy results. And it's your goal to make these results the next benchmark in the industry. So you can differentiate your service by way of proof that your product actually works and the results that you can get, compared to most therapists and coaches whose product actually sucks. They can't explain it in layman's terms and wonder why they can't sell their product or their service. Number four is what I call improvement focus. And this is one of my favorite ones. Become neurotic with improving your product. If you know your clients are getting awesome results, don't just stop there. Become neurotic to keep trying to improve your product over and over again so it just keeps getting better and better and better. But you don't want to focus on technology, funnels, flash, adding more things, stroking your ego, or always talking about or trying to improve yourself. These are things you do not want to become neurotic in. Become neurotic and impulsive when it comes to improving your product, because it's the only thing clients buy, which is the product and the results of that product. Number 5, client experience focus. Make informing your clients easy for them to understand. So when you're talking about your service, your price, your product, the results, all the things that you can do for your clients, all the extra added benefits of working with you, inform your clients in such an easy way so it makes sense to them. One of the big reasons why you will not make money is because clients just simply do not understand what you're talking about. You're trying to explain things by way of therapy and coaching lingo. But if you're working with general public who are not educated in the way that we are, and you're trying to inform them even through your marketing by talking about all the wrong things, they just simply won't understand and they have no reason to buy. Don't talk like a therapist or a coach. Talk like your niche, talk like your market, talk about their pain and their results, and ignore everything else. So what is the result of focus? Asymmetry, pointing towards one goal, but also weighing up your actions. Well, here's some proof. So off to the left-hand side here, we have one of our students, Sarah Picaro, who is a hypnotherapist, started my program in minus $882 in her account, moved on to February where she just started my program, only made $862. By the end of that year, not 10 months later, had ended the year on $123,000 or nearly $123,500 and is now in escrow to buy her dream house. One service, one product, one price, one focus, understanding asymmetry, and is doing less work per day, but making more money. So another example of this is Penny Chason, who's also a hypnotherapist. In the first 12 months of my program, she went from a scattered business, random clients, no niches, multiple products, to check this out, $187,000 US in the first 12 months. No ads, no funnels, no multiple niches, multiple websites, none of this multiple scattered approach. By focusing her attention on a very profitable niche, stacking her asymmetrical actions on top of each other, and like a fucking maniac, focusing on what she needed to do each day, and both of them ignoring everything else, ignoring all the shiny objects and what everybody else says they have to do, but focusing only on what works. Now, above all, even in Penny's example, she has now hired a team to help her with the workload. And this has only been in the program for 12 months, but before was scattered random clients and struggling to build a business. So I think results speak for themselves. So hopefully by now you can see how important focus, time, asymmetrical actions, ignoring all the trivial things that don't fucking matter in business and only focusing on what works, you can see how you can make leaps and bounds, that 8 to 12, 15 inches of progress every single day. And you can repeat this day in and day out to the extent all you have to do is ask yourself, how big do you want to grow your business? Well, these two are living proof of what can be done by harnessing these 3 strategies right here. So let's begin by finding asymmetry inside your business as it is right now. And this comes in 5 parts. So number 1, you want to make a list of every action you take or have taken to attract clients to your business. So just get a pen and paper out, write this list out, everything you can think of. Number 2, go ahead based on what I've taught you to weigh these actions either based on your own observations, based on the data you've collected, or from now, understanding the model that I just presented. Number 3, go through that list and place a tick next to the asymmetry actions, the actions that you know are proving to get you results, and a cross next to the symmetrical actions. Now, in the past, when I've done this with students, and I've done this with therapists and coaches, their entire list was full of crosses. Why? Because they were taking all the symmetrical actions. And then it's time to clear out those things and find the asymmetry actions. And then we can move on to number 4. Number 4 is to redesign your entire daily routine, entire daily schedule, and every single fucking thing that you do to only include the actions that have a tick. Ignore everything else. If you love doing something, but it has a cross next to it, get rid of it because that's your ego talking. You want to redesign everything you do. Your to-do list should only be full of asymmetrical actions. Number 5, we can take it one step further. Over time, you want to track these new asymmetrical actions, the one that you found to work, the ones that you put into action, and always further weigh these results. Track asymmetrical actions and find the best of the above. But remember, don't be fooled by fancy metrics. Don't look for likes, shares, and comments. Only look for cash collected. So any good business owner that wants to continually grow their income will look at their asymmetrical actions. Let's say they've found 10. They had a list of 100 things, and out of that 100, they found 10 were the only things to bring them in income. Then what that person will do is go ahead and look at those 10 every single day, week, month, and year, keep tracking the results and find the very best of the best. Then they'll track it again and find the very, very best of the very best of the best, to the point where you can get your business down to 1, 2, maybe 3 highly productive asymmetrical actions that will always bring you in income. And while it seems like you're only doing about 1 or 2 hours per work per day, you're bringing in the lion's share of the income. While every neurotic therapist and coach out there is pressing 100 different buttons every single fucking day with multiple different this, multiple different that, and barely and struggling to bring in $500 to $1,000 per month. This is how we begin finding asymmetry in your business. So the next model I want to talk about is something called throughput. And you're probably thinking, well, Scott, what on earth is throughput? So in this part of the video, I want to show you why throughput is so important, what it is, what it solves, and why you must focus. Here's that word again, focus on this part of your business if your goal is to make money. So let's look at what throughput is. If you can imagine, we'll use a metaphor here. If you can imagine your business as a pipeline, from one end of the pipeline, we are going to feed focus, attention, resources, marketing, your niche, everything at one end, and it's going to flow all the way to the other end and produce a desired result. And we know that desired result is going to be income. So if you imagine this at a very high level view, this will show you how we can systemize your entire business. And all the compartments of your business, if they flow harmoniously, should have a controlled output. Now, there's 2 ways to look at this throughput right here. I'm going to use this as a metaphor. So we have our pipeline. And as you can see, this tap is feeding resources into the pipeline, and it's flowing at a very big rate. And if we follow that pipeline from the tap there all the way down, off to the right, the end result is income. And that's our goal, to continually feed this pipe with the right resources, the right focus, the right time, the right inputs, the right marketing, the right niche, all the stuff we will drill down into as a part of this video as well to produce an income. So let me give you a further example of this. At a high level view, our business should be a systemized approach. It should be that pipeline. And this, what it will tell us is if the business is successful. And the metric we're looking at is the income. Are the things I'm doing right now producing an income? And at this level, as long as we're getting income, it means the system is working. But what we can also do that a lot of people don't do is we can zoom right in at a very basic systems level, and we can start to look at all the individual departments, not just the high level view, the system as a whole. We can drill right into the individual departments and make each part of the business better, more improved, which is going to produce a bigger income. Hopefully you're with me so far. So let's go ahead and do that. Inside all flows, inside this pipeline as it is, as a coach and a therapist, you have different compartments or departments of your business. And I want you guys to write this stuff down because there will be an exercise for this as well. Let me show you the different compartments of your business. The first thing we have, which is focus. This is where we choose to put our time each day. And that is represented here at the top. So feeding into this pipe, the first compartment is marketing. All businesses, therapists, and coaches must have some sort of marketing. From there, we then have conversions and sales. So this is from the marketing level to the conversions and sales. Is the marketing is where we get the attention of our potential niche. This is where we do things like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, all the social media platforms that we're using. We're creating a specific type of marketing to get the attention of our clients. We're moving them through the pipe, and then we're getting them on a strategy call. From there, we're creating some sort of conversion by way of doing a strategy call, a clarity call, a sales call, or something like this. So remember, focus, marketing, conversions, and sales. Once we turn this person into a paid client, we then have the next department, which is going to be client delivery. This is where you give your client what they paid for. The next thing after that, and one of the most important parts, is repeatability. Can I repeat the marketing I just did? Can I repeat the conversions and sales I just did? And can I repeat the same client delivery every single time? And that flow of events, that sequential set of events from focus, marketing, conversions and sales, client delivery, repeatability should produce some sort of income. However, as it says here, look, the throughput is the measure of the entire flow. All the activities that you do and you create each day, is it turning into paid clients? But unfortunately, with most therapists and coaches, their flow looks something like this. this is what it looks like to them. And this is a lot of the times why their business remains stagnant. It leaks a lot of potential clients and doesn't make any money. So this really represents the majority of therapists and coaches' business, and also my business at one time. So up the top here, we have the constant flow, we have the energy. And based on the model I talked about before, it's like everything at once. I'm just going to turn this tap on full blast, and I'm just going to hope that I get enough water in this pipe that it'll go down sequentially and come out the other end in my desired result. But unfortunately, this is what happens. All that focus, all that attention, everything at once drills down into the marketing. And unfortunately, there's no predictability in marketing, which means that therapists and coaches have no way to systemize their marketing. It's almost like I'm just going to show up on social media, hope the right people see my marketing at the right time, and that turns into a sale. But then the next day, I'm going to have to think of another way to do this. The following day, I'm going to have to think of another way to do this. And that's where they start introducing the funnels, the website, all the fancy things and things like this. But what's really lacking here is the predictability in marketing. There's not a lot of therapists and coaches that have a predictable system to produce marketing that is going to turn into constant clients. From there, because their marketing is very scattered, okay, the output of that marketing is too variable each day. It comes down to the conversion. If they manage to turn marketing into a paid client and it goes down that system, when it comes to the conversion, they're not following a real strategy call system. They have no idea how to sell their service properly. They have no idea how to overcome objections. They have no idea how to show future value. They have no idea how to educate their client as to their higher prices compared to competition that might only be charging $50 or $100. So they have a lack, or what is called a bottleneck in this system. And this is represented here by, if you see all this flow coming down into the pipe, but because there's a hole in the pipe, it starts to leak out. Now, what's funny is when people start to notice this at this level where, Scott, I'm not turning people into paid clients, what they do is this. They try and make the top of the pipe fatter and fatter and fatter by feeding it more, but not all the right mores. Remember the symmetrical activities? That's what they're feeding into the pipe. And it doesn't matter how fat we make the top of that pipe, how many taps we turn on, how much pressure we put down into this pipe, because of this bottleneck and this link that's taken out of the actual pipe, it's starting to drip out. So it doesn't matter how much water we feed in, it's just going to flow out at the wrong place. But let's keep going. So marketing, there's no predictability. Conversions, there's no real system. If they manage to convert a client, they can't repeat it. It's like each time they do a strategy call or a sales call, they have to come up with like a new system. They have no script, no system, no process to follow that can get so predictable that it can increase their close rate. We talked about close rate before. But let's say, for example, they do get a paid client to have some sort of system they're following. It then goes on to the client delivery. And this is one big thing I see therapists and coaches making a big mistake on, because I did this too. Their client delivery is far too long, which means that the longer they have to work with their clients, and I'm going to talk about this further in the video, but for now, just give you an overview here. The longer they work with a client, it means the more we have to distribute that income over longer periods of time. And actually, the longer we spend with clients, the less time we have to do all the important things, which is marketing, getting the new clients, putting more focus into the pipe. Hope you see my point here. Because unfortunately, when our prices are low, we have inconsistent marketing, we have inconsistent conversions. We basically have to take any client that comes along at any price because we've got bills to pay. We've got to generate income into the business. And again, this is represented by flow leaking out of the pipe at the wrong time. So client delivery, too much time with clients. So from there, we drive up the pipe. And as you can see, we're starting to lose a lot of water here, a lot of resources, a lot of potential. By the time we get to the tracking, which is there's no repeatability. If they do manage to get a client, they can't for sure look back on every single step that they took that got that client. Why? Because of all the symmetrical activities. Like I mentioned just before, you can pour as much water into this pipe as you like, as much resources, as much time, as much focus, as much strategy as you like, and you can make that pipe as fat as you want. But because there is flaws in the pipe, all that pressure is going to leak out at the wrong time. And if you can't track what you did to get a client, it means that every time you go to get a new client, you've got to come up with a whole new system. What happens with this? Chaos. But if we flow from the top of the pipe, as you can see here, pushing so much pressure into that pipe, you'll notice at the other end, the income is minimal. Okay, this is that asymmetrical thing showing up again. Symmetrical, far too much effort over long periods of time, doing too much stuff, having no systems or predictability for very little outcome. And remember, throughput is the measure of the entire flow. It's all the systems, all the processes, all the compartments and departments of your business, from the marketing, conversions, client delivery, repeatability, focus, all of those things working harmoniously that'll produce an output, which is always going to be income, because that's what we're focusing on. So there's really two business models here. We need to have a pipe that is consistently flowing water in and flowing water out at the same speed. No bottlenecks, nothing leaking out, and an entire predictable machine, an entire predictable flow. But unfortunately, like I said, if you have inconsistent income, if you have no predictability, no consistency, and no control, this is why your income is very small. But again, it doesn't matter how much time and effort we push into the pipe. If everything is leaking along that pipe and it's not flowing harmoniously, you're going to notice this in the income. Now, you might be thinking, well, Scott, if that's the case, why don't I just add more pipes, more moving parts, more taps? Well, unfortunately, we go from chaos to creating more and more mess and chaos. And again, unfortunately, this is what happens. This is really what happens with that everything approach. We start adding more niches, more prices, more focus, more products, more marketing, more websites, more inquiries, more traffic, more free stuff, more payment plans. We start doing events, we give away pro bonos, we have no plan, we have funnels, more certification, and so on and so forth. And it doesn't matter how many pipes we add to the system, how much more things we add to the system. If all of these more things are symmetrical, it means that you're just going to do more and more work, but the output is always going to remain the same. So how do we fix this throughput? How do we go from this to this right here? How can we fix the pipe, stop all the leaks, get rid of the bottlenecks, zoom right in to what you're doing in your business each day, and make each department better and better and better, which as we zoom out is going to increase the income. Here's the funny things about seeing business in this way, and this is really systems thinking. All it takes is one part of your business, whether it's the marketing, the conversions and sales, the client delivery, to be off, to be tainted, and it will screw up the entire fucking system. It's like a car engine. It could take a $2 spark plug that'll stop the whole car from driving. We zoom right out, it looks like the car's working fine, but there's no output. The car won't turn over, as an example, is undrivable. But if we zoom right in, as a mechanic would do, find that spark plug, takes a couple of dollars to fix, changes the spark plug, turns the car on. Now we have the output, which is the income in this case, but the output the desired way we want it. So how do we go from a tainted flow, a tainted system, to having something that is measurable, predictable, consistent, reliable, and we have full control? Well, this really comes down to what is known as bottlenecks. Every department, if we zoom right in, can cause some sort of bottleneck. Let me give you an example. So let's say, for example, you get really good at marketing. You have your focus niche. You're putting all your energy and focus into one thing. You start doing marketing and you start getting inquiries into your business. You start getting people emailing you, calling you, messaging you on Facebook, which shows that your marketing is doing what it's supposed to do. So if that's the case, well done. But when it comes to the conversion stage, you, for lack of a better word, suck at sales, which means you're not closing anybody. So where is the problem in your business? Where is the bottleneck? Well, it's not the marketing. It's not the focus, because the focus is putting your attention on the marketing. The marketing is working, so that's drilling down into the pipe. Where your bottleneck is the conversion, the sales. And furthermore, if I'm not getting sales, it means I don't have any clients to deliver my service on, which means I can't repeat it, which means I'm not going to have income. So you see how that works, guys? So what are these common bottlenecks? So we know the compartments are focus, marketing, conversions, client delivery, repeatability, and income, and the throughput is the measure of the entire thing. What are the bottlenecks that you're probably experiencing in your business, and how do we fix these bottlenecks? Well, let me show you. I'm going to introduce you to the bottlenecks that I found in my therapy business when I was trying to grow these things. Comes in really 4 parts. So number one, the first type of bottleneck I experienced was actually in my marketing. I fixed my focus. I put enough tension into the pipe each day, but my marketing came down to marketing the wrong thing. So while I was attempting marketing, It wasn't getting the attention of the right people. Why? Well, this is really how I broke down my marketing into 4 stages. Number 1, my marketing was always talking about my story and my journey. But then I realized my clients don't care about that. They care about their story and their journey. Next, I was trying to market about who I was trained by. I started to talk about all the gurus I train with, who I'm reading their books of, who seminars I attended. I started talking about them in my marketing, which wasn't getting the attention of the lawyers I was working with. Then, alongside with my story and what I went through to turn up, into the person I am today, I started talking about why I became a therapist or a coach, why I did these things, why I went to this seminar. And again, I realized my clients didn't care about this stuff. Lastly, my last ditch effort, because I was doing all the marketing that I could, but I wasn't getting any clients, was I started to talk about the process. I started to talk about therapy, started to talk about conversation hypnosis, Ericksonian hypnosis, NLP. I started to talk about these things. And what was the bottleneck that I experienced? This right here. All the flow was going in correctly, but my marketing wasn't turning into any sales calls. So I looked in at my business, I zoomed right in, and I found my first bottleneck, which was the marketing. I was talking about the wrong things at the wrong time to the wrong people and wondering why I'm not getting any strategy calls. So what I had to do was I had to focus in and fix this thing. I had to learn marketing. I had to figure out what type of marketing got the attention of my clients. I had to learn about all the things I needed to talk about, all the things I needed to ignore. I had to figure out how to use Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all the marketing things that you guys are probably using right now, but I had to learn them at a level where they produced a desired outcome. It was no longer just showing up on social media and talking about myself, because that's what the majority of people are doing. You have to look at your marketing is the things I'm doing right now, are the things I'm talking about turning into paid clients? And if you're creating consistent marketing, but it's not turning into paid clients, this is your first bottleneck. My second bottleneck really came down to my price, the conversions. Okay, I was selling the stop smoking sessions to my lawyers at a very low price. So not only was I trying to sell hypnosis, I'm trying to sell sessions, I'm trying to sell me at about $100 per hour, usually take about 2 hours to see a client, so maybe $200 per client. When that was consistent, I still wasn't able to grow my business, because having $100 here or $200 here was getting me no closer to my income, which is why I wanted the $10,000 per month, $20,000 per month. So my prices were wrong to scale my business. So I had to fix the marketing. Then I had to come up with a whole new structure to price my services correctly. But then it turned into the third bottleneck. I went through every bottleneck along this pipeline, and I had to fix every single compartment, every single bottleneck, to allow the flow to not escape at the wrong places and the flow to be repeatable income. So the next bottleneck I found was my delivery of my clients. I was spending far too long with my clients for too little money. The longer I spent with clients, the more I have to distribute. Even though I was only making a couple of $100s, I had to distribute that income over longer periods of time. And when I really broke it down from not only the sessions, the pre-work, the after-work, the catch-up, the emails, the invoices, all of those things, I was only paying myself maybe $20 an hour, $30 an hour. Would have been better for me to go get a full-time job. And I wondered why I couldn't scale my business. So later on in this video, I'm going to introduce you to something called the 80-20 rule. We'll talk specifically about price. Okay. So first bottleneck was the marketing. I had to fix this thing. Second was my price was all off. Third, spending far too long with clients. The delivery of my services were taking far too long. Lastly, number 4 was I had no system. I had no repeatability. If I did manage to get a client, I had no tracking system. I couldn't tell you at what part of the pipe or what part of the flow, the throughput, got me that client. So why is this an issue? Why should you care about this? Well, think of it like this. I'll give you 2 ways you can look at your business. You can have a business where you know what to do each and every day, what button to push, what things to do, what words to say, and exactly what you need to do to get a paid client. And you can repeat this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and always receive the same output, which is a paying client. Or version number 2 of the business, you can wake up every day, wonder what to do, randomly push all these symmetrical buttons, do all of this work, put all of this effort in with hopes it gets a client without predictability. So Monday, you could do all this work, get nothing. Tuesday, you do all this new work, you get nothing. Wednesday, you have a whole new system, get nothing. Thursday, you manage to put all these pieces together and bang, you get a paid client. But then Friday, you go to attempt what you did on Thursday. It doesn't work predictably on Friday. Now you've got to produce this whole new system each time. And this is what drives therapists and coaches to go absolutely insane, because this is what happened to me as well. I got sick and tired of waking up wondering, what am I supposed to do to get a client? I got a client yesterday, but how did I get that client? What exactly did I do? What buttons did I push? Well, if I want to get a new client, must mean I need to do more and more and more. And again, that symmetrical approach of just doing more just created mass chaos in my business. So back to this pipe, as you can see here, your goal right here is to zoom right out and see if your income is predictable. If it's not, and it's not growing, it means that you have bottlenecks in your business. From there, we need to zoom right in and we need to focus on all these different compartments of the pipe, of the business, and we need to iterate and fix each thing. The awesome thing about systems, which I haven't mentioned yet, is this. Once the focus is 100%, like we talked about before, we're pushing all of the water into the pipe, none spilling over. I'm just going to use this pipe metaphor again. It drills down into the marketing. When you start to nail your marketing, now your marketing generates strategy calls. From strategy calls, you start converting these things, you start making money, which means that now you're making money to give client delivery. That client delivery is now turning into very happy clients, referrals and stuff, which we'll talk about later. And now with a right tracking system, you can now repeat what worked. And now your Monday is the same. So your Tuesday is the same as Monday. Your Wednesday is the same thing you did on Tuesday and Monday, each day producing clients. This is what we have to drill down into. And this is how we know if your system is healthy. And this is how we have to see business. Business is not just random parts put together. Every part is harmoniously linked to the part before. But if the part before is tainted, it has a hole in the pipe, as you can see here, it's going to affect the next part, then the next part, then the next part, all the way down to the line where your income is barely dribbling out of the pipe, no matter how much pressure you turn that tap on. So what's the result of having the correct throughput? Well, here's some more proof. So off to the left-hand side here, we have one of our students, Kel Peterson, who started my program, no clients, very inconsistent with his income and a business that was chaotic, to putting all of these processes in place. And as you can see here, in March, he reached $15,000 and he'd only been in my program for just a couple of months. Over to the right-hand side here, an incredible story about one of our students, Jessica Gordon, who started my program at the very start of her business. Within the first 4 weeks of her business from scratch, no business background, never run a business before, knew nothing about marketing, nothing about sales or anything like this. 4 weeks later, hit her first $10,000 month in US dollars in the first 4 weeks, all down to having this throughput approach in the business, focusing in on all the different compartments from the marketing, the sales, the conversion, repeatability, and the tracking, fixing all of these things, and now producing a pipe that produces constant flowing income that is repeatable, controllable, reliable, and consistent. So the next activity I have for you is what I call tracking flow, and this comes in 4 parts. So number 1, you want to map out your entire throughput system based on what I taught you before, include your marketing, your CGAs, your conversions, how many strategy calls you're booking, but also your strategy call close rate, client delivery, how much time roughly it'll take with clients to work with them to give them their total transformation. Lastly is tracking, knowing your value and productive activities versus your time wasting activities. And we did this exercise just before. Number 2 is your bottleneck or bottlenecks. Ask yourself this question: where is your system choking? In that flow and that throughput system, where is it choking? What area or areas are underperforming? And again, if you're watching this video, I'll probably find your entire system, your entire throughput system is underperforming. So if we have to improve every part of it, that's how we're going to start to build your business from scratch. So what area or areas are underperforming? Make sure you map those things out and be very, very clear and observe where those things are, because these are the bottlenecks that need fixing immediately. Number 3, what I call root cause. So once we found the areas or area that is underperforming, we have to find out what is the real reason for this thing underperforming. So an example of this is like, Scott, no one is ever responding to my social media. So you have to ask yourself, what is the real reason for this? Don't just make assumptions. If you're doing social media, no one's responding, you've got to ask yourself and figure out, do I actually know what social media, what content, or what videos to create that's actually going to get the attention of my market? Do I actually know how to use Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram? Do I know how to use these things correctly? In the past, I'm just throwing up content. Maybe the fact that I'm just throwing out random content, this is the reason why it's not working. So you have to understand the root cause, because we can fix the root cause, not what it seems to be at the surface. So if you don't know how to use social media, you don't know how to do sales, these become the root cause and the reason why parts of your systems are underperforming. So that's number 3, root cause. Number 4, once we see what the real root cause is, we know what to fix, we need to restructure the resources. We simply need to improve the bottlenecks. You have to go out and learn the things that are causing the bottlenecks in your business. You have to get to a point where you're having less value waste. You're spending your time on all these symmetrical actions. We have to do less of those things. Once we start combining all the exercises I've given you so far, we can then track the new throughput. We can see, okay, based on this change here, I've now learned how to do YouTube. How are my videos responding now? What are they looking like? Are they booking calls? Am I getting cash collected? And I want to start to track the improvements. And you want to repeat this with all your bottlenecks until you see an entire improvement of your income. Okay, so zooming right out, the metric we're looking for is the income. We zoom right in to find the bottlenecks, zoom in even further, find the root cause, restructure everything, improve those bottlenecks, zoom back out and see, is my income improving? If your income's starting to grow, it means the improvements have worked. But then you don't just want to stop there. You want to keep improving those things over and over, and you can start to watch your income starting to grow at the same time. If your income does not grow, it means you have fixed the wrong root cause. If your income goes backwards, well, it means you've totally screwed up everything. You've not only fixed or not fixed the bottlenecks, you probably fixed the root cause at the wrong place at the wrong time, or your entire system is just full of symmetrical actions where we need to rebuild the business from scratch. But this is how we begin to track flow, find the bottlenecks, find the root cause, and restructure your entire resource. Next, what I want to talk about and focus your attention on, and something I've talked about just previously, is systems. And why systems are so important when it comes to getting predictable income into your business and a reliable and consistent therapy and coaching business. So are systems important? Yes. Do they mean everything to your business from this point forward? Absolutely yes. So let's drill down more into what I mean by systems. Really, what is a system and why should you care? Well, the way I think about a system is I can summarize in quite a few words: controllable, scalable, predictable. All of these words have able on the end. So controllable, scalable, predictable, reliable, maintainable, trackable, and most important, repeatable. Repetition in business is so crucial to get rid of the overwhelming thinking of what do I need to do each day to get clients. Your attitude needs to totally change with a systems approach where you know exactly what to do to get a client each day. But what usually happens in most therapy and coaching business, just like mine used to be like this as well, most coaching and therapy business are more like, the way I would say is like feast and famine, ebbs and flows in their income, chaotic, turbulent, messy, none of the words that have able. And their entire business is represented by their income, their action, effort, their growth, and the control that they have in ebbs and flows. So if you've been in the industry long enough and you notice ebbs and flows in your income, you notice that you can take all of this action for very little growth. You can put all this effort in for no growth and no control. Some days it seems like you're doing a lot and you're getting a lot, and other days it seems like you're doing even more but getting absolutely nothing. You see stagnation in your growth, or ebbs and flows in your growth. One month you have money, the next month you have none. Following month you have none, following month after that you still have none, then you have a massive spike in income. And it's just always up and down, and you realistically have no control. You don't know what to do each day to grow your business. You have no control over your income, no control over your success, no control over the growth, and your business is feast and famine. It's ebbs and flows. And this also, as a business model, also leaks into your personal life, your attitude towards business, your mood, your excitement about business, where it just becomes so turbulent and chaotic. Getting a 9-to-5 job and quitting this business seems like the only sane thing to do. But again, systems allows us to fix these things. Systems allow us to get control, scalability, predictability, reliability, maintain the consistency in your business, have a way to track what is working, and also a way to track what is not working so we can ignore those things, and a way to repeat this same thing each and every day. So what does it really come down to? Well, like I said, systems is the flow, as we talked about before, the flow of events that you take in your business that produce a consistent income. And the awesome thing about systems is the ability to track things. Systems have an awesome part where if you know what works, and you know exactly what you did to achieve the desired outcome, which would be income and paid clients, you can simply repeat these things. And you can put this business on such repetition where you personally, as the human being, can stop doing the work, but the business will continually run. I always use this example. If you wake up each day at 9 a.m. and you turn on your business, again, just like you turn on your car, you work from 9 a.m. all the way through till 5 p.m. You're actively involved in the business. You are actively pushing the buttons. You are actively doing the marketing, taking the strategy calls, sales calls, whatever it is, from 9 a.m. all the way till 5 p.m. But most therapy and coaching business, because they have no system, no automation, no scaling, when that 5 p.m. comes and they shut their laptop for their day, their business stops. So why should you care about this? Well, think of it like this. Other people on the other side of the world are waking up when your business is closing. So while you're asleep, if you have no systems in place, it means that your business has physically stopped for half the day. That's half a day of cash and revenue that you're missing out on, which means that you can't wake up to strategy calls being booked. You can't wake up to people purchasing your products and your service while you're sleeping. But what a system allows us to do is generate momentum and have the right focus, the right things in place where your business can run and be maintainable and scalable 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Even on your weekends, when you take the full day off, you maybe spend time with the kids, you go on holiday. If your business has to shut down, it means that your business will not be able to grow because you're going to miss out on a ton of income. And this is what I mean by the duplication of result. You need to be focusing on and working out what you need to do in your business each day to get a client, but also not getting distracted by the things that don't get you clients. And we need to learn to ignore these things. Duplication of results is a powerful method inside a system, but without it, we don't have any repetition. So what we're looking for here is once we know what worked, let's say, for example, if we zoom in even further on your marketing, let's say we found your asymmetrical actions turn out to be YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We're getting clients from these 3 social media platforms. But if we zoom in even further and we look at this and say, okay, I've just made $10,000 this month, but look at this. 7 of those clients came from YouTube, 1 from Facebook, 2 from LinkedIn. Well, based on the systems approach and the asymmetrical actions, this is telling me that 70% of my income is coming from YouTube. So what if I was to just double down on YouTube each day? Forget about Facebook, forget about LinkedIn. Now I'm really putting my time in the best place because this is going to distribute the most amount of income. And if I wake up every single day, repeat the same YouTube strategy I repeated on Monday, all the way back each and every day to get clients, this is how I can get duplication of results. So I know each day I have a to-do list of do this on YouTube, this on YouTube, this on YouTube, ignore everything else. And this is going to produce the highest paying clients for my business. Beyond that, once we start getting clients, once we start producing these asymmetrical actions and getting paid clients, the result of this, the feedback of this, we now start thinking of referrals, word of mouth. Now the business almost has a life of its own. Now the business is working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, instead of you being a slave to your business. From referrals, we use testimonials, we get reviews. And I'm actually going to show you in a moment how to use those testimonials and reviews to duplicate another system. So this is in a positive way the system should run, but there's also a negative way. If we have too many symmetrical actions, we're doing too much time wasting activities, which is going to spend far too much of our time and energy, our deduction of results starts to show, which means that I'm doing more things, but I'm getting less. We want to flip it asymmetrically. We want to be doing less things, but making more. And the only way to know what to do is not only with this systemized approach, but understanding feedback. No one really understands feedback in their business and misses the use and how powerful feedback can be. And if you ignore feedback, it means that each day it's sort of like you've got to turn the business on, then turn the business off, turn the business on, turn the business off. We want to have a business that is repeating itself over and over and over like a wheel, even without your input. And this, again, is a trick to scaling the business. I'm going to show you how to do this. So think of it like this. We've got the business with the systems and the business without the system. Very straightforward. As you can see on the left here, I have my tap, which is pushing the inputs into the business. And as it's consistently turning the business over, and this is doing it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the business can be resulting in movement without me physically having to be there. It's always constantly flowing. It's always constantly reliable. It's controllable. It's moving by itself. I don't physically have to be there. And if this is the case in the business, it means that I can go to sleep for 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, whatever it is. I can go on a holiday. I can take a break and know my business is still going to be generating me clients, income, success, even without me physically being there. And this is the controllable action that a system gives us. But this is what you have to build. But like always, the contrast is this is what most businesses will look like. And these red squares here represent the bottlenecks that we talked about before. It doesn't matter how much input we put into the business, these bottlenecks are going to stop that constant flow from the focus to the marketing, to the conversions, to the client delivery, to the repeatability, to the income. And this is what this represents. It's always constantly circling on itself. It's going through all those individual compartments, and it's always constantly flowing and constantly moving. It's like a flywheel, and under its own speed and generating its own power, it will continually move. It'll continually flow. It'll continually generate the income and the output that I'm looking for, and I don't physically have to be there. But if I have a business and a flow that is full of bottlenecks and I don't fix these bottlenecks, I'll make some growth and then I'll have to take a step back. A little bit of growth, all the way back. Ebbs and flows in my income, my attitude, my success, my growth, my excitement. I'm always going to be living in that feast or famine mode. I'm always going to have something, then it seems like it's taken away from me. We want to get consistent growth over long periods of time, but you can't do this without a systemized approach. And what I'm teaching you today is this right here, to have a constant flowing process from input, process, output. Input, process, output, constantly moving even without me being there. This is what a system can do for your business. So beyond that, let's drill down even further. Let's take a timeline of your entire week in business. Let's say we work from Monday to Friday, 5 days a week. Let's say in 1 week, I've decided to fill up my to-do list based on the very first model that I showed you, to fill up my to-do list with asymmetrical actions. Least amount of time and effort, give me the biggest results. And let's say in 1 week, I choose all these low energy exercises. These are asymmetrical. Let's say in 1 week, I do 10 Facebook Lives, 10 Instagram Lives as well, and I create 30 posts, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, across all the social media. I also create 3 YouTube videos. I send out 100 organic outreach messages. From all of this activities, these are all the inputs, the asymmetrical actions. These turn into 5 strategy calls. Okay. And let's say my price is $2,500. I do 5 strategy calls. I have 1 no-show, 4 people turn up. I close 50%. I make $5,000. Okay. Systemized approach is telling me that what I did, the inputs, the actions, the asymmetrical actions I chose to do, it worked because it turned into paid clients. It went from the left-hand side here, asymmetrical actions. These turned into strategy calls, and the strategy call flowed into paying clients. Then I can use feedback, again, the asymmetry, and figure out, did it work? I can look at exactly what action worked. If I drill down even further, I can see that YouTube gave me the most amount of income, or Facebook gave me the most amount of income. I can keep drilling down right in to even working out what words I said that worked and what words I said didn't work. But that's really drilling in. I want to keep it at a very basic level right now. So in 1 week, it's telling me that all the actions I took this week turned into $5,000. Well, if I did this in 1 week and I earned $5,000, if I wanted to earn $5,000 the next week, you know what I'd do? Exactly the same thing. $5,000 the week after, exactly the same thing. I do this over 4 weeks. Now I've hit $20,000 in a month. That's the control we're looking for. But again, if you choose all the wrong actions, you can apply the same systems process. But in 1 week, if you spend your time building a website and a logo, business cards and flyers, going to multiple events, giving away free sessions, getting another certification, all of these things, which we know are more symmetrical because they won't turn into clients ever. And now I booked no strategy calls at the cost of spending more money, more time. The business cards, the flyers, the event, the certification, they cost money. So now I'm out of pocket. And then I have to look at these things and go, okay, did what I do this week, did it work? And the answer is no. So would I want to repeat these things? No. This is how you can work out how quickly what a symmetrical action is to an asymmetrical action. If you're just guessing, like, I think this worked, I think I did this and this got my client, this is not a systems approach. So everything you do, from the inputs, the process, the output, the asymmetry, the feedback, and the niche that you're in, will all give you signs of feedback. And it's your goal to observe what this feedback is, keep feeding back the things that worked into the system while ignoring and getting rid of, putting on the fire and burning those things that don't work, getting fucking chaos out of your business. So you can wake up each and every day, know exactly what to do to get clients, but also know what not to waste your time on. This is systems. So furthermore with this, let's look more at the feedback thing. I really want to drill you guys into this. So again, in that 1 week, 10 Facebook Lives, 30 posts, 3 YouTube videos, so on and so forth, I made $5,000. Did it work? Are those things repeatable? Can I repeat Facebook Lives every day? Yes. Can I repeat a YouTube video every day? Yes. Can I get better at doing Facebook Lives? Yes. Can I improve my YouTube videos? Yes. So now I can iterate these things. So then we can look at what is the feedback telling us? Well, if I did 3 YouTube videos and it made X amount of money, what if I just got really good at YouTube videos and to the point where I could probably do less videos but make more money. Now I can repeat, improve, and iterate those actions, get so good at creating social media, get so goddamn good at selling, get so goddamn good at delivering my service to my clients in a shorter amount of time, less income distributed over longer periods of time. We'll talk more about that in a moment. That means that I'm now doing less, but I'm making more money. So I can always repeat, improve, and iterate the systems and the things I'm doing to make more money. More so, and I can also learn where the distraction is. I can also avoid changing the niche. I can also avoid adding things, spending money, shiny objects, complacency. If you follow feedback, feedback will grow your business. If you ignore it, you're going to look at the business the way it is. You're going to assume where the broken parts are without doing any investigation. You're going to take things out that may have actually worked, change things, move things, jump from niche to niche, add more prices, turn more taps on, systems collapse. So again, you go back to the symmetrical business model, which is more work, less outcome. So you got to be very careful with feedback. Either feedback can work for you or it can totally collapse your business. And feedback is always the art of looking at what you're doing that is working and ignoring the things that are not working, deleting those things and spending 100% of your time and focus, as we talked about at the start, on only those asymmetrical actions. So what does this look like furthermore? I want to give you a few graphs of this. Let's say, for example, the system. Let's say, as an example, I did 3 YouTube videos in 1 week, which turned into 1 strategy call or 2 strategy calls. I closed 50% of those strategy calls. I got $1,000 to $1,500 client. I have found what works. From step to step to step, I know what works. So I'm smart enough now to look at it and go, okay, don't touch that thing that worked. I'm just going to duplicate it. If doing 3 YouTube videos at this place turned into 1 client, I'm going to double up the next week. And that double is now going to turn into 3 clients. Then I'm going to triple, and that 3 clients is going to turn into 6 clients the more I improve the system. And this goes into infinity. And I use feedback based on what worked to feed back into the system. And I'm going to continually, like a reflexive cycle, keep feeding the system, the machine, my pipe, the only things that work while ignoring everything else. And I'm going to get so good at doing only the things that work. So when people look into my business think, how is he making so much money by doing the least amount of work? It's because I've used feedback, I've used system, I've used asymmetry. I've zoomed right into finding where my bottlenecks are, and I've improved those bottlenecks. Thus, the output of this, I'm making more money, but doing less things. And you can do this into infinity. Therapists and coaches are always astounded how our students are able to scale their business so quickly by selling the same service as everybody else, but 10 times, 20 times, 50 times the price. This is how they're doing it. They're not doing more work than you. They might be a little bit more consistent than you, but the work they're doing matters. While you're spending 90% of your time on time-wasting activities and 10% on the activities that actually worked, because you're not tracking, you don't know what those things are that are working, our students are doing the flip of that. Okay, they're doing 90% of the things that are working, and doing that last 10% is maybe just changing little bits here and there to try and iterate the 90% that's working to try and get that up to 100%. Again, this is a systems approach. No guessing, no wondering, no hoping. It's looking at the business as a complete flow, and you can do this into infinity. You can keep duplicating the results based on the feedback we get. So let's, again, zoom even further in. And I want to talk about what actually happens as a system at the client level. Okay, so stick with me here. Let's say, for example, I found the system that works. I do this action, this process turns into this money. I know what to do. I know how to get a $2,500 client, $1,500 client, $1,000 client, whatever your price is. I'm going to feed those asymmetrical actions into the system. It's going to produce a $1,500 client. Then that's going to flow. Remember the flow of the pipe? That's going to flow into the delivery of my MOS service. So what is, Scott, what is MOS service? That's the next model I'm going to talk about. Then what happens from this client, I'm going to realize that one client can actually duplicate many results for me. So what does this mean? Well, one client that I blow them away with my delivery of my service could turn into a testimonial and a review, which is going to turn into more money. So now I'm going to create a system around testimonials and reviews. And from there, I'm going to make more money, and I'm going to put that money into my tax, my super, my personal account, all the stuff we talked about before, and I'm going to hold on to that money. So what does this look like even further? Well, if you think of your clients as a flywheel, okay? At the top of the flywheel is what I call the testimonial. And now I can use that testimonial as part of my marketing. And that marketing, I can now turn into getting another client or another 2 clients or another 3 clients. Now I'm getting experience with that one niche, which is allowing me to create my MOS service. MOS for now stands for minimum optimum service. It's a way to spend less time with your clients but make more money. And that's the next part of this model. So this flywheel is continuous. So every time I get a client, I'm going to think about how can I get a testimonial or review out of them. The only way I'm going to get that is by giving them an incredible service. I'm going to use that testimonial to market my business, get more experience in that niche, work out my MOS so it's better, spend less time with clients, get another testimonial, more marketing experience, MOS, testimonial, marketing experience, MOS. And from here, now I'm duplicating clients based on reviews to the point where a high percentage of my business can be completely word of mouth. It can be all about reviews, marketing, testimonials, testimonial videos, screenshot reviews, whatever you're getting. And you want to use those testimonials and client results as part of your marketing. There is nothing more powerful than testimonials and reviews to duplicate into more referrals, more marketing, more experience, more MOS, more clients, so on and so forth. So don't just look at your clients as just an income. Start looking at your clients long-term. Start thinking of your clients. Are the clients I'm taking into my business, are they affecting the longevity of my business? If I take in bad clients, they're going to affect the long-term strategy of my business. If I get a client right now at a good price and they are the perfect client for me because I found the right niche, I MOS my service, give them the most amount of impact in their life as quickly as possible. And I'll talk about why that's important very soon. Blow them away with my service. They go out and start telling more people about my business and my service. Now I'm getting reviews. I'm getting testimonials. I'm getting referrals. And again, I'm creating a reflexive cycle, a reflexive system at the client level too. And this is how we turn testimonials and reviews into more paid clients. So what is the result of putting all of these models together and understanding systems? Well, I want to even give you 2 different models. We've looked at the testimonials before with face-to-face clients, but this same systems approach can be used for another model as a therapist or a coach. So here's 2 examples. We have Phil and we also have Ryan. Phil and Ryan sell courses. They do live events where they teach hypnotherapy. They do live events. They do online. They teach NLP, and they're selling a certification model. And as you can see here, the same systems approach, the same systems, the flow, everything we've talked about, the same type of asymmetrical marketing can now grow this type of business model. So Phil over here on the left-hand side talking about in one day did a $30,000 day selling his hypno courses on stage. Over the right-hand side here is Ryan selling $36,000 in sale closed in March. And this is for his hypnotherapy training business. So the same systems approach, this same model can also be used if you have a seminar model, you have a seminar business, or you're even selling an online program. But it doesn't just stop here, guys. These therapists and these coaches, all of these people we've done interviews with, you can go check out all of these interviews on our YouTube channel. But I want to show that these results aren't minimal. These results are replicable between therapists, coaches, NLPs, healers, online business, health coaches, life coaches, all of the above that have in some cases, quit their job. They had a full-time job to moving into a full-time therapy and coaching business within just months, from all different backgrounds, all different certifications, all different places around the world, but they understood the prosperity of what coaching and therapy can do for them in their life. They understood system. They understood how to apply the asymmetrical actions to market their business. And I'm happy to say that all of these therapists and coaches and the impact they're having on their clients' life, they're not spending a cent on advertising. They're not giving away sessions for free. They're not doing all of the time-wasting activities that 90% of the therapists and coaches are out there doing, but they are taking the lion's share of the income, but making a massive impact in their client's life. And they are growing the fastest coaching and therapy businesses on the planet. So the next exercise is systems flow. And this comes in 5 parts. So number 1, we want to be constantly feeding the system the least amount of effort, CGAs, that are asymmetrical, least amount of moving parts, least amount of effort that yield the biggest results. Number 2, you want to concentrate on decreasing the delivery time, including the MOS, minimum optimum service, so we don't have to distribute your income over such long periods of time. Number 3, you want to start to bank your money. You want to set your life up after coaching and therapy, after you maybe get rid of the business, sell the business, stop the business, whatever you decide to do, start setting up for that point in time now. Don't waste your money on ridiculous things that only create distraction. Number 4, you want to view every client with these following elements. Your clients are going to pay you money. They're going to give you experience on the MOS so you can work with the next client after that in a quicker fashion. They're going to give you testimonials, whether it's screenshot, it's video testimonial, it's some sort of proof, it's some sort of review. And you want to duplicate this with every single client. Don't just look at a client as just getting one thing, which would be money. There's experience, there's testimonials, there's referrals. And you want to duplicate this process to turn one client into two, two into four, four into eight, so on and so forth. Lastly, number 5 is you want to look for the feedback of each system. And you want to feedback the system back on itself. Block any leaking holes and repeat this system. And leaking holes could be distraction, complacency, symmetrical activities, applying things that don't give you an immediate result. You want to get rid of those things so you don't want to taint the system. And you want to have that feedback system and allow it to feed back on itself. Don't allow that feedback to break at any point. If you see it breaking, block the holes, block the leaks, and allow that system to continually repeat on itself 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The last model I want to talk about, and one of the most important things that'll pull all these models together, is understanding your economics. And this was really the last bottleneck of my business that I had to observe, dive right in, fix in order to have a more harmonious throughput. On top of the economics, I'll also talk about the 80-20 rule to show you how to find the exact right price for your service. So let's look at the economics of your business. So let me know if this sounds familiar and if this is representative of your coaching and therapy business, because it definitely was for mine at one point. Let's say, for example, we are in January. We've got a bunch of clients in January, which means our income is going to grow. But we know now of how important those CGAs are each day in order to grow the business. However, with most therapists and coaches severely undercharging for their services based on the old traditional model, where the traditional model tell us that we should be charging per hour, per session, just a couple of $100s per client, with the goal to have like a back-to-back business or filling up our diary with clients. I'm here to show you why that model will never scale, and this will be one big bottleneck in your business that must be fixed. So, for example, $100 per client based on the traditional model. I have a bunch of clients in January, which means I'm going to reach a pretty big threshold for my income. I'm going to start making money. But because all of my time is allocated in the wrong place with all low paying clients, what's going to happen to my time and my focus when it comes to doing the CGAs? Well, I'm simply going to run out of time. If I'm back to back to back every single day of every week of every month, it means I'm going to run out of time to do all the important things, all the marketing, the extra strategy calls, running the system, scaling the business, talking to new potential clients. So my income may go up because I'm seeing clients, but all my time allocated in the wrong place, which is here, I'm going to run out of time to scale the business, which means my CGAs are going to go down. And how will this affect my business long-term? I think, well, Scott, I'm making money in January. Isn't that important? Well, here's what happens to our income. Remember the ebbs and flows. What will happen? Because all my time was spent in the wrong places on January with too many back-to-back low-paying clients. In February, what's going to happen? My income is going to go down. Why? Because I had no time in January to start to build up my client base for February. So I'm going to run out of money. So I'm already doing an ebb and I'm doing a flow. I'm going to run out of money in February. I'm going to have no clients. So what am I going to do then? Well, I'm going to stress out, realize I don't have any clients. And what am I going to do? All the CGAs. So I'm going to go crazy like a maniac doing all my asymmetrical inputs, which means that I've got all the time because I've got no clients. My CGAs is going to go through the roof, but unfortunately my income is going to go down. Why? Because the CGAs I do in February may not show up until March. Ebb and flow, ebb and flow. The reason I got clients in January was because of the marketing I did in December. It never shows up immediately. It always shows up with some sort of delay. So in February, I kick into gear because I've got no clients. My income's gone down, so I'm freaking out. I do all the right CGAs, all the asymmetrical CGAs. And what happens in March? Because my prices are so low again, I instantly get all these $100 clients. But what happens? I run out of time again. CGAs goes down. And I experience this ebb and flow in my income all the time. Why? Because of the time allocation. Remember, all the way back to the first model where I choose to put my focus and my time. And this is why price will choke the hell out of most therapists and coaches' businesses and will be one of the biggest bottlenecks that you'll come across. Regardless of how good you are at marketing, regardless of how good you get at sales, regardless of how good you get at everything, if you are running out of time to do the CGAs each and every day, you will always experience this ebb and flow in the income. So how do we solve this? Why is this important? Well, it's important because if your business is not growing and you're experiencing this ebbs and flows, if you do not fix it, with more competition coming into the market, you'll not only start doing this, but you'll start doing this. And it will start to ebb and flow so out of control, it will regress so far away from your monthly income where you'll look at the market and say, it's too saturated. I can't make money. I'm going to go have to get a 9-to-5 job. But if you stick with me here and fix the price, which I'm going to show you how to do, I'll show you how to get out of ebbs and flows and get a constant growth in your income. So how do we do this? Well, it's very, very simple. Let me introduce you to something I call my 80-20 rule for long-term profit. So off to the left-hand side here, this is the model that creates the ebbs and flows. 80% of my time is with clients, 20% of the time is on the business. And business is made up of social media, marketing, innovation, client attraction, strategy, calls, and sales. All the things, the CGAs, the asymmetrical CGAs. But if all my time is with clients, I run out of time to do everything else. So this is where I get the ebbs and flows. I may be seeing back-to-back clients, but I'm not going to make enough money to survive. I'm going to have to do far too many things over longer periods of time, far too much button pushing, far too much of everything for very little income. There's that symmetrical stuff showing up again. So what's the difference? Well, it's a simple, easy switch. What we have to do is increase your price threshold. We talked about every niche has a price threshold. So this is why if you're looking at our student results so far and thinking, well, how the hell are they making so much money? It's because we show them based on the economics and the 80-20 rule that you need to be spending 80% of your time on the business and only allocate 20% of your time with clients. That's the only way to get out of the ebbs and flows, which would mean by default that your prices have to rise. You should be getting your prices to $1,000, $1,500, $2,500, $2,500, all the way up as high as you can possibly go. Find that price threshold. Because all the time you spend with clients means less time getting new clients for the following week, the following month, and so on and so forth. You should be building up a list of clients in the future, not a list of clients in the immediate, okay? But when your prices are so low, that's the only way to survive. But again, you run that ebbs and flow. So if you're running this 80% of time with clients, low prices, 20% of time in your business, you'll get ebb and flow. But if you spend 80% of your time, social media, marketing, innovation, client attraction, strategy, calls, and sales, all the asymmetrical activities, and only allocate 20% of your time with clients, it means that now you can see less clients, make more money, and have more time to grow and scale the business. This is the 80-20 rule. This is the only way out of the ebbs and flows. One of the first things we teach all our students, but it was the only way I got out of the traditional model, which told me I had to charge $100, multiple sessions, multiple time, multiple clients back to back. That model does not scale. If you're after this model, which is build back-to-back clients, build a busy practice, get back-to-back clients and all these sorts of things, and you're getting ebbs and flows in your income, it means you've allocated your 80-20 rule in the wrong way. So make it a simple switch, get your prices up so you can survive, get to that $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month and beyond, and spend 80% of your time growing the business because that's how you're going to make long-term profit. So that is our 80-20 rule, and that is the bottleneck and the process of getting out of ebbs and flows and how to fix that bottleneck so we can create more of that harmonious flow. So what does this look like? Pulling this all together, we have our 80% of our time on the business, 20% of our time with the clients, which means by default, our prices have to go up. We cannot survive off $100. The lower the price, the more clients I'm going to have to see, the less time I'll have to do the 80% in the right place. And we put this all together with the right system, the right asymmetrical actions. We get them into the strategy call. We master that bottleneck of strategy call. We start bringing in cash flow and income into our business, and we simply repeat it. We follow that asymmetrical repetition of our business. And now our day, back to the very first model, consists of an unwavering daily routine of knowing what to do to get clients consistently at a great price where you don't have to leech time away from the thing that got you the clients in the first place. What got you clients was the marketing. What got you clients was the asymmetrical actions. The more of those asymmetrical actions you can do over many days, over many weeks, or longer periods of time, the more money you're going to earn. But if your 80-20 rule is backwards and you have low prices with back-to-back clients, you are going to experience ebbs and flows for the rest of your career. So the last exercise, based on what I just taught you, is what is called economic flow. And this also comes in 5 parts. Number 1, you want to find your price threshold. All niches are created differently. Some niches can jump to $1,000, $1,500, $2,500, $5,000, $10,000 and beyond. But some niches get caught at a certain point. An example of this is my stop smoking clients when I was working with lawyers was $1,500. When I started to increase that price past what I found was the threshold to $16,000, $17,000, $18,000, even $2,000 per client, every time I creeped it up higher, I got more no's. So my choice was, do I do more calls at a higher price but get more no's? Or do I back it down to $1,500 where I was pretty much getting 100% close rate, stay with that, and have this as my price threshold because that's what I decided to do. So you've got to investigate any sort of niche that you're in. Some niches grow quite quickly. Some have a certain threshold. Some can scale very, very high. It is up to you to do the research and collect the data from this. Do not just assume that because the industry price has $100 or $200, that this is a threshold. This is a guess, and this is the old traditional broken model. There are niches that can scale very, very quickly. You have to find what those price thresholds are. Number two, again, always improving your MOS. More money to work less. The quicker you can work with clients, the less we have to distribute that income over time. The longer time with clients, the actual more you're actually going to be paying yourself less because you've got to do more work with that client. MOS your clients every single time. Number three, and I find this shocking that therapists and coaches do not understand simple maths when it comes to their business, but this is part of your economics. So understand the maths. Let's say, for example, you want to make $10,000 a month at $2,000 per client based on the threshold price that you found with a strategy close rate of 1 in 2, so 50%. Then you've just got to do simple maths and figure out that all I need to do in order to make $10,000 per month at $2,000 per client is book 10 strategy calls per month. As long as I'm closing 5, which is half out of those 10, bang, I've got myself a $10,000 month. Then your goal each and every month is to just create inputs and take action on the things, the asymmetrical actions that are going to book strategy calls and book 10 calls. But then what you can do is you can zoom in even further. Once you're doing $10,000 per month with those 10 calls, you can then look at the bottleneck and say, okay, if I'm closing 1 in 2, if I improve the bottleneck, which is now my close rate, and I get better at sales, and I turn 1 in 2, which is 50%, to 100% close rate, now I can do the same amount of calls, which is the same amount of time, but double my income. Less work, more money. Number 4, distribute your income into personal, business, saving, retirement, and investment. Start to set yourself up for retirement now and later on in life. Do not waste your money on shiny objects and things that are only going to distract you from what's really, really important. Number 5, which really summarizes everything I've talked about today, which is business, life, your income, your success, your happiness, all the ables. Your business will affect your life will affect your business. If you can control every part of your life, your business, your income, your happiness, this will now become a simple flow for success and will encapsulate your entire business. So you will be able to wake up each and every day, know what you need to do to get clients, what you need to ignore that is only going to waste time, how to grow your business by doing less, how to see less clients but make more money, and dominate your entire fucking niche over and over again. And this is your economic flow. As you would agree, I've taken you through a lot of different models, a lot of abstraction, and a lot of different theories, but it really comes down to choice right now. There's a few things that are going to happen while someone watches this video. They're going to look at this video, maybe rewatch it and think, wow, that sounds good. That sounds like an idea. That makes sense, but I'm happy just to coast. No one's going to come across this video. There's no one that's going to follow this stuff. There's no one that's going to apply this stuff. And I'm here to tell you that if you think like this or behave like this, you have the right to be dominated in your niche. All it's going to take is for someone to behave differently than you, be in the same niche as you, come across this video and do something total opposite to what you have done. While you have looked at this video, maybe followed along, maybe did one exercise, put the video on hold, and then went about your day to watch Netflix, while the other person chooses to watch this video and have me spoon feed the systems, the flow, the focus, the 80-20 rule, understanding their niche, understanding their action items, understanding asymmetry, understanding how to clean the bottlenecks in their business. And if they are in the same niche as you and they exist in the same environment as you, they are going to simply trample over you in business. So don't behave or think that nobody else is going to watch this video. And just because you haven't applied these steps and don't take action on these steps, that nobody else will. I'm here to tell you that if you're in a system, in a business that operates basically like this, where every day you have bottlenecks in your business, you're focusing on everything at once, you don't understand marketing, your conversions, you don't have a system to have complete conversions, you don't understand your client delivery and the 80-20 rule, you don't know how to repeat the process, you have trickling income, you don't understand the throughput of your entire system. Your systems have ebbs and flows. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. You experience inside your system, the niche, the asymmetrical actions, the economics, you experience ebbs and flows in your income. You don't apply the 80-20 rule and your business is in absolute chaos. You have the choice right now. You have access to watch this video where I have spoon-fed all of the bottlenecks in your business and showed you with exercises and real fucking proof what is possible as a therapist or a coach. But I get it. Not everyone's going to take the high road. Not everyone's going to act and behave in the way that I hope they will in this business and follow these steps. But it comes down to a choice. You better believe me that somebody else right behind you that is watching this video, that has experienced more chaos than you, has more of a better attitude than you, behaves differently than you, wants this more than you, even if they're in the same niche and they're a hypnotherapist or a coach like you, and they follow every single step in this video, they are going to dominate you and embarrass you in this niche. But like I said, if you're happy to live a business model, live a life of mediocrity, low cash flow, no throughput, scattered focus, and waking up each day wondering, how the fuck am I going to get a client today? All it's going to take is for your competition who are going to watch this same video, get the same resources, complete the same exercise, and they're going to turn their business into a predictable flow of events. So when you think about business or life, you are the sum of the choices that you make. And what you've seen right here is a map to success. It's a map to a repeatable business. It's a map to get your focus in the right place. It's a map to create a business that is repeatable, consistent, reliable, trackable, and you have full control over all the moving parts, all the levers that you need to adjust in the right place to make more money to scale in the less amount of time. And like I said, all it's going to take is your competition to come along and look at this map, apply every single step, and dominate you out of business where you are struggling to survive. So here again is your last choice. If you are serious about growing your business from scratch, to get rid of all of the chaos, to get rid of all of the ebbs and flows, to get predictable and reliable results in your business, I'm going to take you one step further than the map, and I'm going to give you the key to success. This really is the fundamentals of my 100K coaching program. But as you can imagine, this is just a couple of hour video showing you the map of how to get there. But like I mentioned before, you don't want to get into the woods or the weeds where most of you guys are now and then call out for a map. You want to have a map, a sequential set of steps to know how to get through the woods and out the other end. You don't want to get the map while you're in there. So if you're in a state of chaos and confusion, it comes down to choice, and it's your choice whether you want to make the next step. So if you are serious about growing your business, starting the business from scratch, or even scaling your business to get it repeatable and be able to deliver a service to your clients that far outweighs all of your competition, get it to the point where you master sales, marketing, client delivery, repeatability, and you can grow your income to the extent that you want it to grow, then I'm going to give you the key. So if you're super serious, I'm going to give you the opportunity. There is a link below this video to click and book a free strategy call with me, where not only will I remind you of what I've shown you on this video, I'm going to give you the extra benefits of what your business can do. I'm going to show you how this map can be replicated into a real functional business model. And I'm going to make it easy for you where I have done the majority of the work for you, and you can turn your brain off and just have a proven system. No guessing required. That'll show you how to grow your business from scratch to 6 figures and multiple 6 figures, like I showed you with proof before. So if you are super serious, go ahead, book a strategy call with me. We'll spend about 45 minutes to an hour together, and I'll show you all the sequential parts that we need to grow your business. I'll give you all of the details, and I'll show you how you can change your business and your life, your income, and the state of the rest of your life from this day forward. So if that's you, I look forward to seeing you on the call.